Or move back to item 5.23. This was an item that was pulled from consent by Supervisor Owen, so I'll go ahead and start out with you.
Let me go back. What number was it?
5.23, and I'll read off the item.
Oh, okay.
This is approve the use of Small Unmanned Aerial Systems, sUAS, by the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Approve the purchase and acquisition of sUAS from Advexure in the amount not to exceed $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
And did you want to come?
Yep,
first?
absolutely. Hello, Mr. Bigham. Hey, the reason this was pulled is I had something brought to my attention. The ACLU currently is suing Sonoma County, it's code enforcement primarily, because of lack of search warrants. And so I just wanted your intake on, because they're alleging warrantless drone programs, violations of U.S. Constitution, protections against unreasonable searches, and guarantees for personal privacy. In 1985, California Supreme Court ruling that prohibits warrantless aerial surveillance of homes. Now, I know that you had those down too for search and rescue, which I'm all for, obviously. I didn't feel it was right, since it was brought to my attention, that I didn't bring that up and have that discussion. So do we need 3 or what's your input on all that?
So currently we have a drone program that was approved by the board last year. We currently have 3 Matrice drones, which we use for investigative purposes, search and rescue, and et cetera. At that time, we intended to buy an additional 3 drones, these drones that we're talking about today. These are very small drones. They're probably 8 inches in width by maybe 4 or 5 inches total length. We classify those as interior drones.
Right.
They're used for interior searches of residences. And I'll give you an example of a situation that just occurred last week. We had a shooting over in Nice, where the subject potentially barricaded himself in an apartment. We did not have the capability of knowing if he was in the apartment without sending deputies into that apartment, which is extremely dangerous for the deputies and could result in a confrontation that could lead to lethal force or some other type of use of force. We had to call our partners over at Mendocino County and request their interior drones to come over. There was a delay in time. It delayed us. He wasn't in the apartment, but we couldn't leave the apartment, and it delayed us in doing a further search of the surrounding area to locate him and take him into custody. So having those drones would increase our availability, our safety of our officers, and our response to these incidents. Going back to what you're talking about, Fourth Amendment, there are several exemptions to the Fourth Amendment. One of them is exigency. So typically when we fly drones for situations like that, we're operating under the exigency exemption of the Fourth Amendment. There's a public safety risk we need to deal with this moment, and so we use those drones under that exception to the Fourth Amendment. They are used specifically for public safety and officer safety, and I'll use the example of last week. We would not be using that drone to conduct a search of the apartment per se. We'd be using the drone to send the drone in there and determine whether the suspect was in there or not and whether they are armed or not, so we can best respond to that in a safe manner. We would not be sending the drone in there looking for evidence of a crime in and of itself. If we were going to do that, then yes, we would write a search warrant. It's the same in an open field search or over the top of a residence. And I'll use a search and rescue example. If we have Mendocino just had in Fort Bragg, over the weekend they had a 10-year-old child that was had ran away from home. They were looking for, it took them, I believe, 2 days to locate him. In that situation, we would use drones over residences because, again, that is an exigency circumstance. We're looking for a lost child. And we would, yes, unfortunately be looking into people's backyards, but we're not doing it out of an evidence search or trying to find evidence of a crime. We're doing it to find a lost child. If we were to fly drones over a residence to search for evidence, then we would absolutely have a search warrant, and that is part of our policy for that.
Okay. So you do need the 3 to be
Interior drones, yes. We have the 3 larger drones for
I knew that.
aerial searches, and then the interior drones will be used by our tactical team and then our deputies in situations where our only other option is to wait 45 minutes to an hour and a half for Mendocino to respond to assist us, or send a deputy or a canine into a residence. So
No, and I'm all about officer safety. Absolutely. I just, because this was brought up,
Yeah.
I wanted to just bring it up.
yes.
So thank you.
And the reality of it is, just to expand on that a little more, if we were to use a drone without a search warrant over somebody's residence to search for evidence, and we located evidence, that evidence would be thrown out of court as fruits of a poisonous tree, because it was unlawfully seized in violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that was just it.
Okay. I need to open this to the public. Is there anybody in the room who wishes to comment? See 2 coming. Angela.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since it got pulled, I'll take advantage of asking Sheriff Bingham a couple of questions. Are the drones equipped with GPS trackers for transparency to the public on where they're being used, and if there is an issue down the road, for say somebody need to file a PRA on where it was used, and are they marked with any identification? Thank you.
Thank you.
They do have trackers as to where they're flown. And as far as any identification, no.
Okay. Next in the room.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and supervisors. Thank you, Supervisor Owen, for your attention to civil liberties and looking at the county's liability. And thank you, Sheriff Bingham, for looking out for our public safety and keeping your officers safe. I have just a couple of questions, and that has to do with data retention and access. Who has access to the data? Like what agencies? And are there agencies outside of Lake County who have access to that data? And if so, which ones? Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we conduct an aerial search of an evidence search, then we would retain that as part of our criminal investigation. If we're just conducting a search and rescue type search, we're typically not recording that and retaining that data for any length of time. The only people that have access to that video is internal within the sheriff's office, or we would share it with another law enforcement agency if we were conducting a joint investigation.
Thank you. Do we have anyone online?
We have some.
Phone user 1, please identify yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Sky Lewell. I just had a couple of comments about the drone use in general. Thank you, Supervisor Owen, for mentioning the ACLU, because that was an issue that we had a concern with CDD wanting to use that for the same reasons for investigative purposes. But the real issue is that it is a concern over the amendments. And I would also like to highlight that the county already has the aerial imaging and satellite maps and GIS, but the question isn't whether it can be used, it's whether the county is going to spend more money on the tools that it already has. There are legal limitations to the UAV use, and to follow those limitations, respect the constitutional protections. But I would also like to highlight that CDD also has access to this technology, and instead of waiting for half an hour, I'm pretty sure you could utilize the existing resources efficiently instead of asking taxpayers and permit holders to fund the additional contract in the cities. We spend years and todays hearing about budgets and shortfalls and fee increases and reserve problems. The answer shouldn't always be more spending. It should be more management of the county resources already has. So I do urge that if CDD does have that and you guys are already operating through probation, you guys should be able to use those instead of spending more money to get them. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else online? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for action. Okay, Sheriff.
I would like to respond to that really quickly, and I understand the point that she just made, but all of that information that she's talking about, satellites and mapping, is not real time. It is all hours and days old. So as far as evidence search, a crime scene, photography, search and rescue search, or something where we're searching for an armed subject, these drones provide us real-time information as it occurs.
And I absolutely appreciate that. And this was mostly pulled for the community's benefit.
And the money that is being used for this is coming out of the Rural Sheriff's Fund, which is specific for equipment and these sorts of things. It's not coming out of the general budget.
Thank you.
Are we ready to offer?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to approve the use of the Small Unmanned Aerial Systems, sUAS, by the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Approve the purchase and acquisition of sUAS from Advexure in an amount not to exceed $9,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-0. We're going to move on to our 5.24 item, which is A, waive the competitive bidding process requirements of the Lake County Code Article X pursuant to Section 2-38.4, cooperative purchases, and B, authorized purchase of 7 Motorola V700 body-worn cameras through Sourcewell contract number 101223-MOT. Again, this is a sheriff's item. It was requested to be pulled by a member of the public. Do you want to give any brief comments about this item, or you don't have to? I mean, it's a purchase of 7 body cameras.
Yeah, we're running short on body cameras. We've increased our body-worn camera program in the sheriff's office. Now all correctional deputies are issued and required to carry a body-worn camera while they're on duty, along with all patrol deputies, detectives, and even some of our command staff are wearing them if they go out in the field. It's a great product. We've been running body-worn cameras and car cameras for well over 16 years now. And it's industry standard. Just about every law enforcement agency are using them now.
Thank you, Sheriff. You have a question?
No. Can you pull it?
No. Public.
Oh, the public.
Public pulled it. So,
Layla.
yeah. So I'm just going to open it up to the public. And do we have anybody? I'll start online because that's where I was pulled. Phone user 1, identify yourself, please.
Sky Layla, Hills Bay Family Farms, and my concern is not with the Sheriff's Department obtaining the body cameras. My concern is whether you guys are selecting the best system available to ensure that the evidence is captured, preserved, and accessible when needed. Motorola may offer a lower cost solution, but there have been documented concerns within the law enforcement community regarding the video uploads, synchronization issues, and evidence management challenges. When the record fails to upload properly to the cloud, when footage is missing, and when the system doesn't seamlessly integrate evidence management, the public trust suffers. I would encourage the sheriffs to look into the Axon, because Axon body cameras have become the industry golden standard for the body-worn cameras across the country. One reason is the highly integrated evidence management ecosystem, from recording to the storage to the retrieval of it. And the system is designed to reduce the human error and provide a reliable chain of custody for the digital evidence. Many agencies do favor Axon because of its ease of use and automated workflows and the reputation for reliability. And I would suggest that maybe you guys should look at raising the cost, because it does cost between $26,000 and $30,000 for a small department like Lake County. But it certainly isn't about the money. It's just about the transparency and the accountability. And I would encourage you to fully evaluate whether choosing the less expensive option could create a larger cost for you guys tomorrow. Because the public deserves confidence that every interaction to be recorded, every recording to be preserved, and every piece of evidence to be available when there's questions arise. Accountability is not simply about having the cameras. It is about having a system that the public can trust.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online? Do we have anyone in the room who wishes to comment? Not seeing any, so I'll close public comment and bring it back to the board.
Do you have any comment on Skyla's comment?
Yeah, we've been running WatchGuard systems since we got in-car cameras and body-worn cameras, I believe and don't quote me on this, somewhere around 2012, we've been with WatchGuard. WatchGuard was recently purchased by Motorola, I believe, 3 to 4 years ago, and WatchGuard is now a Motorola product. We recently, within the last 2 years, have switched over to the cloud-based system where we used to have an internal server system. At this point, we have found no issues with the cloud-based system with the uploading or the retention of the video evidence. We have not lost any videos that I'm aware of, or have we had any corruption of our data that we've uploaded.
Thank you, Sheriff. If there's nothing further, be ready.
This too, the motion for exemption.
Go ahead, County Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yes, so it could be in one motion, and I have the motion language prepared. I just wanted to clarify for the sheriff if there is an amount that's being proposed as part of the motion approval for the particularly the 7 Motorola body-worn cameras, because it sounds like there's the purchase itself and then maybe an additional subscription, or
I believe it's just the purchase. The subscription goes with the body-worn cameras as part of the purchase price. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have the item in front of me right now without pulling it up on my tablet. It was not to exceed, I think, $9,000 also. So I'm right in that area.
So when your board is ready, I think
We're ready.
So the motion would be a motion to approve the purchase of 7 Motorola V700 body-worn cameras through Sourcewell contract number 101223-MOT for the amount stated in said contract, and also to, along with that motion, find that this is exempt from competitive bidding requirements under Lake County Code Section 2-38.4.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 4-0. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.